Okay, so I'll record this and then upload a recording of this class so that you can follow along with me anyways. So this week we're going to work on some very simple, learning the very basics of Google Maps. If you want to learn more, there's all kinds of resources to drill down more deeply. If those aren't helpful enough for you and I can assist you, we can set up a time to do some more one-on-one stuff with that as well. And then next week will be same kind of thing using the Google Toolbox, which is really, I mean, I kind of hate Google and I kind of hate Facebook, but they're both so powerful and so user-friendly. And there's so much you can do as a storyteller in all of those different tools. So next week we'll do a similar kind of thing where I'll show you the basics with graphics and charts, and I'll have you create a couple of those using some very basic tools. So before I kick into that, any questions about anything? We're getting close to, anyways, we're moving along. This is week 10. So at the end of week 10, we'll have 5 weeks left. So 5 weeks to do those final projects. And we'll, the last week of the semester will be kind of some kind of a virtual show and tell presentation kind of thing in the classes where we'll present these projects, maybe just to one another. I might also bring in some guests to so you can meet with them and show them your work and get some good feedback. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna share my screen. Actually, I'm gonna pause 1 second. So either in the chat or verbally, does anybody have any questions or need any clarification about anything?
Yeah, so will we be presenting throughout the middle of April, kind of throughout then, or will that be in May?
If you look at the class schedule,
yeah,
I'll do that too. Week 14 of the semester is April 12th. I'm going to have you all do, I think, the presentations the week of April 19th. I guess technically there are some classes. I don't know how to handle this. Like there's a Monday and Tuesday class the week after that. I don't think I'm going to touch that. I think I'm just going to say our class is in the week of April 19th. And then final exam week is the week of May 3rd. We won't meet during that time, we won't, but your final versions of your final projects will be due during the final exam time. And I apologize, I don't know the exact time. I probably have this all due on the Wednesday of final exam week. So the good news will be like that final week, whichever I just said that was, the 21st. No, not the 21st, the week of April 19th, you'll present your projects, you'll get some feedback. Hopefully that'll encourage you to say, okay, cool, I know what I need to do to revise it and to make it better. And then you'll turn into me, really, you'll probably just give me a hyperlink with a little bit of accompanying information. I usually have you put together a kind of a sheet, a one-page kind of elevator pitch of your project, your concept, and things like that. Good?
Cool.
All right. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to share my screen then, and let's make some maps. And at the end of this session today, I'll give you a chance just to get some bonus points by working along with me and encouraging you to do that. So if you create a map, embed that map on your WordPress post, and then share the link to that map on the discussion page that discussion thread that I've created for today. I'll give you a few points for having done that work, but these can be really sloppy, messy, ugly maps. So for starters, if you look at my tabs here, I would encourage you to do a similar kind of thing. So make sure that you've got your maps open. Don't worry, I'll show you how to get there in a second. Make sure you've got your WordPress site open, and you might as well just go ahead and create a new post on WordPress. So you've got that ready because you're going to just embed. Don't worry, that we won't spend much time there. And then I want to encourage you to try Google Photos, but we don't have to get into that today. I've made the pitch for Google Photos before. I really like it as a photo storage tool. I use it for all my traveling, all my photo editing. I love taking pictures. And I sync it with the app Google Photos on my phone. It automatically, when I'm in a Wi-Fi area, uploads the photos there. It's got some very basic editing tools. If you're into photography, they're probably too basic, but anyways, I like them. And then you can synchronize, you can sync your Google Photos with with your maps. If you don't have Google Photos today, don't worry about it. Let's just focus on learning the maps today. So for the moment, let's just have you open Google Maps. So how do you open Google Maps? Well, first just go to your Google account, and I am logged into my UMD Google account. And then where are maps? And if you go there and you go My Maps, actually, let's do it the other way. If you go to our class module for today, the step-by-steps, I'm sorry, I should have said this too. So if you go to week 10 overview, down at the bottom, you'll see all of the things we're doing right now. So I'm going to record this, and you've got all these resources here. So if you're having trouble staying with me, don't worry. Okay, so let's first go to create a map, right? And so there's the URL for that. So I'm just going to select it there. I'm going to go up to maps, or I'm sorry, I'm going to go up to open a new tab. I'm just going to press enter. So there's the URL. I'm going to say get started. So these are all the different maps I've created. A lot of them just playing for this class. And so I'm going to create a new one now. So I'm going to click this create a new map. And you probably will have like this, a map of the United States. And you could make a map of the United States. You can make a map of whatever you want. And you can customize it, and you can share it, or you can keep it private. But I'm going to go ahead and drill down a little bit closer and do a small scale. I'm going to do a map based out of Duluth, Minnesota. Okay. So you'll see everything I add over here. This isn't just using the Google Maps function, which I'm sure you all use on your phones and everywhere else when you're looking for restaurants, you're looking for all this kind of stuff. And you can add other people's data onto your own map as well. But we're creating new content on our own map using Google Maps as a tool right now. So I've got Duluth here right now showing up, and you can see over here, this is the dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a name right now. So I'm going to say Journalism 2101 Spring. What year is it? 2021. All right. I had a student once who had a t-shirt. I love this t-shirt. He said, I thought the future would be cooler. I thought that was a really good t-shirt. All right. So just description, I'm going to say practice map here for class demonstration. You can say whatever you want. You can be silly, you can be silly. And I would also add, if you're already comfortable playing with this and doing this and want to work ahead, that's okay. All I'm looking for is by the end of class, you show me that you can embed a map onto a WordPress post and post a correct link to that WordPress post. So anyways, I got Duluth here, but I'm going to get rid of it. Okay. So right now I've got the map drilled down here, right, to this small area of Duluth. And there's all kinds of things you can do on these maps. And there's all kinds of tutorials that can help you. Let me jump back again to show you this. Some of the different resources you can use for Google Tools are in this module, including like a simple 2-minute video that says how to create a Google map from scratch. So in like seriously 2 minutes, this person goes through everything you could do to create and share a map. You can also go through Google Maps, more specific classes to learn how to use Google Maps. Google has all kinds of tools to help journalists use what they offer to do your work. Of course they do. They want you to use that. So anyways, I'll just leave that alone. Okay, so you can do all kinds of stuff. You can add all kinds of things to your map. These basic things are the basic tools that you have to use. You can draw lines. You can add directions. You can measure the distances around things, and you can import all kinds of different stuff. If you wanted to, and we're not going to get into this today, but if you wanted to, you could create a very simple spreadsheet that had the names of restaurants and the addresses of restaurants, for example, and then import all of that using this import tool. So all kinds of possibilities here. All I wanted to show you, at least in the short time we have today with class, is how to import some images and customize those a little bit. So I'm going to show you how I did it. and then let's see how we can help you do it. So the first thing I did was I created before class today, I just grabbed some images that I've taken around Duluth. They're not anything special, though several of them have the same dog in them. And I created a photo album in Google Photos. These images are available to you. You can use your own images, of course, if you want to as well. But these images are available to you here. As you see where I say Google Photos, you can click on this link and it should take you to that photo album there. So one thing you could do is go to that album, download those images. The other thing that I don't think it's going to do is the trick I'm going to show you in a second here, because I think I would have to share this album with each of you individually. But let's find out. Let's see in a second. So let me just show you first, and then we'll walk you through some of the other ways you could do this, okay? But I wanted to just show you how cool it is to take photos, upload them into Google Photos, and then have them drop on your map, provided you've got your location services on for your phone, have them drop onto your map. So I'm going to go ahead and press import. I'm going to search Google Photo Albums. It'll show all the different albums I've taken in a weird order. But I saved this album as in-class Google Map assignment. So I'm copying that. I'm going to search for that album. And there are all those different images, right? But I could also search for all kinds of other things in my Google Photos, if provided I've got that synced. And so let's say I'm just going to go ahead and load them all. Let's see if it'll do that for me. Okay, so I've selected all those different images, and I'm going to go, okay, go ahead, and it's copying those photos to my map. And there they all are. So I'm not done now, right? I can now go through and take each of these, and it's telling me roughly where each of those images were taken, because when I took my photos, I had on my phone my location services on. Hold on, I'll take a drink here. Okay, so now I can customize each of these images if I want to, right? So here is one image, and I don't want it. I don't want it to be. I don't want the image to just have the address. In fact, that's not what I want for it at all. So you see, for this image, there's all of this other information to it. I can add another image. I can even add a video. I can give directions to this spot from other places, I think. I can change the style or the format of my little box here. Mostly right now, I'm just going to edit it. I'm just going to write nice view. I think, I have no idea where this is. Is this the top of Bagley Hill? And then I'm going to write some words here. I'm just, it's too hard. So like I'd write a little caption here, right? So again, I guess the one thing I just want to keep on stressing is all of these tools are only part of it, right? It's still about telling stories and finding good content. And so I'm going to go ahead and save that. So now you can see over on the left-hand side, it says nice view. You could customize each of these little icons here. You can do all kinds of things. You can just, and what I hope you'll do is just get into Google Maps and make a giant mess, right? Put some lines in, put some directions, just see what kinds of stuff you can do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that one. Let's see how it's looking. I'll preview it. There it is. And so this is how it looks on my laptop. Of course, we can check it on our phones and things like that as well. So if you click on this, you can see it opens up for you. And cutting off somebody's head, so that kind of stink. But so this is how somebody who visited your site, this is how the experience would be for them, is they could see each of these images by scrolling through here, or they can go on the map itself and they click on the images there and they show up that way. And so you can see how it would have this, and then it would have all kinds of other words that you would write. Where are my words? Oh, I'll click on the one I actually added words to. Where is that one? I think I got to zoom in a little bit more. So you can see, for a lot of you that are doing things about what's happening in Duluth, a map would be a pretty great tool to have, right? So this is the one where I edited the headline, which is a lame headline and needs to do more, and where I added some caption information, and that's not a good caption either. So there's all of that. I'm going to show you, don't worry, other ways you can get images into this, but I'm just going to walk you slowly through, I hope, and actually just concisely through the steps I want you to do. So the first thing I want you to do is just create a map. The second thing I want you to do is put some stuff on that map. It can be my images, it can be your own images, you can create some points, right? So I could also, if I wanted to, click and add a marker. I'll come back and show you some of those other things. So before I move forward, any questions?
How do you add pictures again? Like just like importing them?
Okay, so let me finish this for a second, Drew, and then I'll show you 3 other ways that you can add images, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, great. Any other questions? And don't let me get away with that, Drew. After I'm done with this, make sure you remind me to show you that. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and save my or share my image, my map with the world. I'm sorry. So right now this is my own private map, and it's in my little library of Google Maps. And some stuff you may not want to share with anybody else, or you can limit who sees it. But this is for publication, right? I'm going to share this with the world. And so I'm going to go ahead and press share. And it's going to go quick sharing options. So I'm going to say enable link sharing. Absolutely. Do I want to make it public to everyone on the web? Why not? Life is short. And so then I'm going to press close. There's a URL here that I could share with the whole class or email out to people or put on Facebook or anything like that. But that's not the link that we want to use to embed on WordPress. So stay with me on this. So I'm going to press close. And now let's pretend I'm done with my map. And of course, the beautiful thing is I can keep working with it. But anyways, let's say I'm done with my map and I'm ready to publish it. Now I'm going to go up to these dots, right? So here's the headline for my map. Here are these 3 vertical dots, not these 3 vertical dots, these 3 vertical dots. And I'm going to, and you can see there's all different kinds of things you can do. The one I'm looking for is this one. I'm going to embed this on my site, okay? So I've got that copied. I'm going to press Command C on my computer. If you've got a Android, I guess it would be Control C. I'm going to say okay. And so then I'm going to go to my WordPress site. And I'll start from scratch on my WordPress site. So view posts. Let's go ahead and add a new post. So I'm in the dashboard of my WordPress site, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and add a new post. I'm going to give it a headline, JRR 2101 practice, all caps. I hate all caps. Practice map. And I'm just going to put, here is my practice map that I created in class. You notice I'm not using grammar, punctuation, or capitalization. You can also be that terrible in this assignment. I want you to just show me you can embed the maps, right? And then I'm going to go to this little blue box, add the block, and I'm going to click add the block. Again, all of this is step-by-step on the module. So if you're not staying with me, don't worry. I'm going to type in the words custom HTML. All I had to write was CUS, and it shows up. I'm going to click on that. You'll see this box. This is write HTML. Remember, I've already got my HTML saved, right? So this is my, here, I'm going to close this. I got it from here where it said embed on my site. There's my HTML that I need to embed this. I'm going to just paste that right there. And I'm going to go ahead and save it as a draft. And I'm going to preview it. And there it is. And it's an interactive map, right? It's not a static map. So people who see this, they can share it with other people. They can engage with it. I don't know if they can add other additional information. I don't think that people can, but I bet you could create a setup where people could contribute their own stuff. It would be a little bit scary, but you could do it. Okay, so I'm satisfied. I guess I'll view it both on my tablet and on my phone. Cool. All right, good. And so I'm going to go ahead and publish this. Again, all the things you want to do, make sure you've got your tags and your categories and all of that kind of stuff, but I'm not worried about that right now or for this assignment. So, there. And so a lot of times, pay attention, people are still doing this. You're grabbing this link, don't grab that link. This is the link that you use to work on this. What you need to do is grab the link for the post itself. You can see there's a couple of places you can get that. Over on this right-hand side, you can see the post address, that's the URL, or you can grab the URL right there by clicking view the post. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to our discussion thread. And I'm going to post my link. Let's see what happens. Post reply. Cool. I think I did it. I think I get some bonus points for class today. Okay. I'm going to stop for a second, then go back to the map and show you some of the other stuff. How is everybody doing? Does this make sense? Do you have questions? What do you think? Can you give me a thumbs up if it's good and makes sense?
I think it makes sense. I'm not sure like how you would use different layers. Or
Yeah.
how I'm just kind of throwing different points on there.
Yeah, right. And so you can put all kinds of different things on there and all kinds of layers. And if you want to drill down more deeply, Google offers some different classes that'll walk you through it. I haven't looked, but I'm sure our LinkedIn Learning Place does as well. But you definitely could do that. So let's show a couple of other things. So first I want to answer Drew's question, and then we'll talk more about different layers. And the fact that we can rename them. So let's say that you're not using Google Photos to sync your places and put them in the exact location. Let's say instead that you just want to add some images and put them in a particular place. So the easiest way I know to do that, and if some of you have used Google Maps more and can show us some other stuff, let me know that too. But let's say I want to put an image. I know I've got an image from Park Point, and I'm going to click on that image there, and I'm going to say Park Point. And then I'm going to write some words right here, and I'm going to go ahead and grab an image. So Drew, this I think is answering your question. So I'm going to click add an image. I save, and look at all the different places you can get these images from. You can add a YouTube, you can add a Google image search result, you can add the URL to an image. Again, remember all we learned about copyright and respecting that. But if you're using a URL to an image, then it's probably one that's public. But I'm going to go ahead and grab a file that I have saved onto my device. And you can see on my desktop, I had put, oh shoot, thank you so much, Luke. Sorry about that, guys. Let me go back 2 steps. Thank you for letting me know, Luke. Okay, so here we are. You're looking at my screen now, I hope. I'm going to click add a marker. I'm going to go ahead and put it on Park Point. I'm going to say Park Point. And I'm going to spell that wrong. I'm going to type in some words. I'm going to grab an image. I'm going to go select from my computer that image. Let's see which one I have that's of Park Point. I guess that's Park Point. I'm going to throw that in there. And there it is. And I'm going to save that. You can also, I think, let's try UMD. There's the University of Minnesota Duluth. And there's the public thing. It's only got a 4.1. I'm going to add that to my map. See if it'll let me do that. Probably would let me add some images. Can I write my own stuff on it? Let's see. I can. Well, that's weird. but interesting. So anyways, you can add stuff that already exists on other people's maps or to your own map. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. If I wanted to, I can add an image. I can customize that. So if I've done this right, that's been saved on my map as well. And you can see that's been added to my imported photos and that layer. You can rename. Okay, so there's that. So that's one way to add images. Let me go back and show you a couple of other things about images, and then we can talk about layers and other things we can do here. So if you look at today's module, week 10 overview. So if you look at today's module, you'll see I saved all the images. So you could either download my images through clicking on the link that I gave you, or they're also saved right here. So if you wanted to, you could click on any of the images that I am using for today and save them to your desktop and use them, or you can use your own images. So how is that, Drew? Does that make sense as far as how easy it is to add an image?
Yeah, that does. It's a lot better. Thank you.
Okay. Other things you can do, you can tweak the base map itself. So maybe you don't want this very basic Google map. Maybe you want a satellite view. Maybe you want, I don't know, that view. Maybe you like one of these other styles better. So you can do that and change that base map and make it that. The imported photos, you probably don't want to call it imported photos. Maybe you want to call it cool stuff in Duluth. Please don't call it cool stuff in Duluth, but you could call it cool stuff in Duluth, right? And you can add that now. Is UMD showing up there? Okay, it sure is. Individual styles. You can also change the styles, have them not have labels. You can base them. You can, so right now my images and the points on my maps don't have labels, but I want to give them labels. So I'm gonna have everything on my map identified by the name of the place. So cool. So now we know, like this one might say nice view. This one would say Skyline Parkway. This one says University of Minnesota Duluth. Now remember, I'm going to jump ahead here. Remember our map we created over here? Well, remember that anything we're doing to update our map, if I hit refresh, I hope and think it'll be reflected in the map, right? So once you put a map up somewhere, it can keep changing, it can keep growing, and you can keep adding stuff to it. And as long as you've got it embedded, then whatever changes you make are going to be saved there. It's not showing me the names of the stuff, which kind of bums me out. Yeah, let me see if there's anything else I can show you. So up here in this exercise for today, these are the resources I could think to show you. This is the step-by-step of how to first create a map, and then the step-by-step on how to embed a WordPress and the link to the discussion thread, which I hope is public. Let me know if it's not. There is, to teach you how to do all that, how to embed on WordPress. Of course, WordPress has a step-by-step on how to work with Google Maps, which is great because WordPress and Google didn't used to play very well together. So I'm hoping next week when we get to graphics that they're also playing better there, because that used to get really wonky and stupid. And of course, Google has step-by-step tutorials. And if you want to get more sophisticated, and I hope if you do use Maps that you will, right? But Google Maps has all of these different lessons and things you can do slower and step-by-step on how to do, how to build a map. So, questions?
How did you add an image as the icon for a point?
Yeah, right. So I
can just get the default like Google icons. They look
icon,
like.
right. So let's try. Okay, so let's kick. So UMD is the one where we've got. Now let's mess with the Park Point one. So I'm going to go to the one labeled Park Point, this one here, And let's edit that. Save Park Point. Can't add another image. We can customize individual styles. Okay, maybe it's under individual styles. Group places by individual styles. No label, so that's not it. So right now, okay, so that's where I did it. So I'm on the Park Point one, right? I got that selected and there's a little paint bucket over there. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab it. So if I have an image associated with that, which I do, I think it's that one, then I'm going to change my icon to make my icon the image. Does that make, you got it?
Oh, okay, I think so. Yeah, I wasn't doing the custom icon.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can tweak all these any way you want. I mean, they're customizable within the limits of what you've got here, but yeah,
Oh, sweet. Yeah, cool.
cool. I'll show you one other map that I did. And if we have time, and we do have a minute or two, I can show you the very basics on how to do a table. But okay, so here is my journalism test site. Whoops, not sharing again. Okay, so, and I think I showed you this one the other day, but playing with maps. So this is just another post that I made. I did a bike trip a couple of years ago, started in Duluth, went down around Lake Pepin, et cetera, and ended up over in Western Minnesota. And it was really fun. Like I took pictures along the whole trip, and then I created this map where I put in the directions that I did. So I added my directions to my map, and then I had the images that I wanted to use drop in on top of that map. I didn't do any more than that, but you can see how like a map can really tell a story, right? And it can be the story over the course of a trip, but it could be the story of anything. It could be the timeline of where somebody's lived at different times in their lives, and how you could couple it with that. So there's all kinds of ways you can use maps to help you visualize information and to tell a story. Other questions? Let me show you one more tool then that you might want to use. And this one can be pretty powerful as well. So, I'm not requiring you to do this, but let's say you wanted to map some information using addresses, or you get some databases. And this is some work that you will actually do in in Maya Jensen's class, the data journalism class, which I hope if you haven't taken it yet, I really would encourage you to take it in the fall semester. Let's say you've got a bunch of information about how different schools are handling some particular piece of information, or like what snowfall totals are for a region or something like that. Well, one thing you can do is put all of that into a simple chart or spreadsheet. And then if you put that information in correctly, you can drop that information from your spreadsheet onto a map. So it's one thing to have a table of that stuff. It's another thing to have that information on a map so you can mouse over those different areas and see where information is. So let's try a really simple map. And if you want to, you can follow along with me here. So I'm still working in the same map I've got, right? So this is my map that I'm going to make a mess on here. And I'm going to enclose this one, and that one. And I'm going to open up a new tab, and I've got Google Sheets, okay? And I may fail also, by the way, on this, but I'm going to put the name of it and the address, maybe the city, and maybe the zip code. I'm gonna just put University of Minnesota Duluth. So I'm gonna say UMD. Does anybody know what UMD's address is? I always have to type in UMD Duluth so that we don't.
651 Campus Drive.
All right, you got it? Hold on. Okay, good. All right, what is it? Say it again.
651 Campus Drive.
Uh-huh.
I think so. I was off. I don't know why I still have that in my memory.
And there's
Or,
Duluth, Minnesota.
1049 University Drive.
Oh,
Dang
okay,
it.
okay. All right. Say it again. 1039,
49
1049,
University Drive.
University Drive, Duluth, obviously.
55812.
55812. I'm going to add another column here. Insert column left. I'm going to say state, and then I'm going to go Minnesota. All right. So let's say we had all kinds of addresses, but for now I'm just going to, and I'm going to title my spreadsheet Journalism 2101 Spring 2021 map. And so there it is. It's saved in my Google Drive. So if this works, then I can add another layer. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to press add a layer. Here, I'm down here where it says untitled layer. So I'm going to import that layer. And I'm going to look within my Google Drive for this spreadsheet. See if it shows up. If this works, I'm I've been living right if this works today. So I selected the name of this map. So if it's gonna, all right, so here we go. I'm gonna press paste. There it is. Okay, choose to position. All right, I'll try address and zip code. I'm gonna do all of them there. Let's see what happens. Tell us where to put these place marks on the map. It didn't like that. All right, let's try this. Did it do it? Yeah. Cool. All right. So yeah. So and so then there it is. There's a UMD, and we could customize that information. But you could see, like, let's say that table had all of this other information. Let's say it had the number of COVID cases or the number of students enrolled or the whatever, whether or not the university serves veggie burgers. And I really want to know if anybody's tried. Okay, Kennedy's asking a question. So anyways, you can use that table and customize everything. Okay, how do you make your map public again? So we're going, so I'm looking at my map. I've got my little person with a plus next to them, and I'm going to press share. And yours might look like this, but we want it to look like this, and we want to make it public. And then we're going to close it. Does that work, Kennedy?
You weren't sharing your screen.
Oh, Lord. I did it again. So I did that whole thing with showing how that worked with the spreadsheet, and no one saw that either, right? Okay, let's do this again. So Kennedy, I'm going to go share right there where that little person is and where it says share. And yours probably looks like this. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to close it. And then to embed it, I go up to these dots up here and press embed on my site. Is that good, Kennedy?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. No, I apologize that I keep forgetting to press the share thing. Okay. Any other questions? I'm not sure if you want to have your screen shared again. Yes, I did. I'm not sure I want to save this recording. This is terrible. Okay, so you're all feeling good about this? I hope so. It's super simple and super intuitive. Since we do have a couple of minutes left, and since I did screw up and not share the spreadsheet with you, why don't I just walk through that again with my screen shared. Yeah, when I have my screen share, okay. All right, so anyways, just to create a table where you put information up on your table and then have that sync with a map, You simply go to your Google. You go to Google for your account. You click on Sheets. You open up a sheet. And you can add all kinds of information, right? And so I just created a new sheet and just added the name of the place, the address, the city, the state, the zip code. And I could have added all kinds of other stuff, right? All kinds of other information on this spreadsheet. And then I saved the name of this just so I could find it easily. And then I go to my map and I want to add another layer, right? So these maps are all built on the idea that you can add lots of different layers. And you can make those layers visible or not make them visible. It's up to you. And then I'm going to go ahead and press add a layer. Once I've added that layer, I can press import. When I press import, I can either upload stuff, I can go to photos, I can grab photos from all kinds of places, or I can look in my drive. So I'm going to look in my drive. There's the name of it. There's my spreadsheet. It's saying, okay, I'll get this. And it's trying to figure out what to do with it. And it's going to ask me, what do you want to base, well, I'll put this on your map. Tell me how. So it's going to say, which column do you want to use to put it? And so I'm going to say, base it on the address. I hope. Did it do it? Come on. There it went. Okay. And I already did this once. So there. All right. Well, I hope that I haven't confused you even more. And I hope that this encourages you to consider using some maps in your final projects and to play with Google Maps. There's a ton of stuff you can do with it. And I guess the other thing before we wrap up for today, I'll remind you is one of the things I reward you for doing in this class is to challenge yourself, right? So if you play it safe, that's fine. But if you teach yourself to do something that maybe goes even a little bit beyond what we're doing in class or even what you thought you could do, I'll reward that, go big and fail rather than playing it safe. I definitely will reward you for taking some chances. So with this assignment, one of the chances you can take is to consider using the ArcGIS program. And we have people, and I'll be happy to introduce you to them here in the Geospatial Analysis Center that will work with you on that. Okay. I think, yes, you had a question. Sorry, Molly.
Where do we publish it? I'm looking for it. Like, where do we publish our our
So
things
you've got,
in that?
yeah. So you've got yours embedded on your WordPress post and you've got the link ready to share for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go to today's assignments at the bottom, you'll see where it says post a link to your WordPress map in this discussion thread. I hope
Okay.
that, oh, maybe the problem is it wasn't published. There. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yep, I see it now. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you for asking. I should have double checked. All right. Well, unless anybody has any questions, I'm going to go away. So you can post that map in the discussion. You'll get some bonus points. But other than that, do you know what you have to do before class on Monday? Nothing. So, but I hope what you'll do is keep working on these final projects, of course. Probably don't need to say it again. Have a great week, everybody. Let me know if I can help with anything.